Thank you very much. You know, when I helped break ground out here, I think nearly 2 years ago, I remember tossing a really nice shovel of dirt. But who would have thought of what the results were going to be? Isn't this grand? Isn't this great? Actually, a lot of planning and hard work by a whole lot of dedicated people went into making this building and this occasion a reality, and I want to say congratulations to everybody who played a part in this. I especially want to thank the folks at the University of Kentucky, who 3 years ago approached the Commonwealth as a partner in applying for the NIST grant. It just goes to show it never hurts to ask. And that's what we did at that time. We asked. That was just after Secretary Hayes and I had first traveled to Argonne National Laboratory near Chicago in 2008 to tour their amazing research facilities there. We talked with Argonne officials about our nation's need to develop better materials and more efficient manufacturing processes for America's batteries of the future. We talked about how nice it would be to have a research facility dedicated to just those tasks. And as we were talking, I was thinking, it never hurts to ask. Well, we asked. And as a result, today, we are celebrating the opening of not only a terrific building for the Center for Applied Energy Research, but also in this building, one of the nation's first federal battery manufacturing research and development laboratories. It is a perfect fit. The CAER building is dedicated to research in biomass and biofuels, as well as in advanced power generation and storage. The Battery Center will look at ways to produce the batteries that store and deliver that power. Both facilities will be magnets that attract more of the nation's top scientists, technicians, and engineers. They will also help attract grants and other funding for more and larger economic investments that can benefit the Lexington area and the entire Commonwealth for decades to come. We're forever grateful to NIST and the other agencies that help make this building possible. Rodney Andrews and others are going to tell you about this facility and the terrific research that will be performed here. But I want to tell you about the Kentucky Argonne Battery Manufacturing Research and Development Center that will be here. Eric Isaacs is with us. He's the director of the Argonne National Laboratory, and he's traveled here from Chicago and will be adding his own thoughts here in a few minutes. The Kentucky Argonne Battery Center was created to become the nation's leading research and development institution dedicated to finding new manufacturing processes for lithium-ion batteries and other types of energy storage devices. These new batteries are cleaner and greener and have a longer lifespan than traditional types. Yet, they need an even longer life. They still need to be smaller. They still need to be cheaper. And they need to be produced more cost efficiently. Not in Asia, but here in the United States of America. The Battery Center here will be a leading supporter of our nation's manufacturing industry and will help position America and Kentucky as leaders in developing the next generation of energy-efficient vehicles. This will enhance U.S. energy independence, reduce greenhouse gases, and show the world that American know-how, and more specifically Kentucky know-how, is second to none. A few years ago, Energy and Environment Secretary Lynn Peters and I prepared a 7-part comprehensive plan on Kentucky's energy future. The Battery Center is another tool to help us accomplish the goals laid out in that plan. The center also represents an investment in Kentucky's economic future because public research facilities can be huge economic engines. It's well documented that when the number of public research facilities increases in a region, so does private investment in R&D. Private, high-tech businesses and researchers are attracted to the knowledge generated by public research. and they like to license that technology to bring it to market. The result here will be an overall increase in the number of companies and jobs, high-value companies and high-salary jobs. We've already had a high-tech company move to Kentucky because of this battery lab, even before the facility opened. Enactment officials plan to lease access to the center's expertise and resources so that they can develop advanced energy storage materials for use in next-generation batteries. They're just the first of many we expect to come calling. That's why I say that as excited as we are about these new facilities and capabilities, the energy industry and the automotive industry will be even more thrilled. Here in Lexington and across Kentucky, we're going to help them change the world. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Mayor Jim Gray from Lexington. He was the CEO of Gray Construction, which is one of the leading, nation's leading builders of large-scale manufacturing facilities. So it's a nice match with what we're aiming to do here. His administration right now is investigating building an arts and cultural district centered around downtown in Rupp Arena, and he's been a fantastic supporter of the programs here.
Thanks so much, Rodney. And, you know, it was great to hear that extraordinary history, David Drake, that you shared with us on the last 40 years that brings us to an event like today that we're celebrating. And then, Governor, for you to share with us what this installation represents today. And I think President Capilouto, you know what that means, Speaker Stumbo, for all that you've done and the legislature has done to support this project and projects just like it. Nothing, in my view, I think, says more about it with an exclamation point on it, Governor, to everything you just said and what David said, than the presence today of a fellow named Ted Miller, who I just met, fortunately, because Jay Morgan introduced him to me. Ted is the #1 guy for battery technology for Ford Motor Company, not just in the United States, but across the universe. And why is that a big deal? Well, you know, it illustrates the significance that everything the governor was saying is for real. It's true. This is a big deal. We are at the right place at the right time. Fortunately, Margaret Hammaker is here, who is doing a wonderful job in leading the BEAM project, the work between Louisville and Lexington, to recognize the significance and the opportunities associated with advanced manufacturing in every respect. And Margaret knows the story of being in Detroit in January of this year at the auto show. Governor, you were there as well. And Jay introduced Greg Fisher, Mayor Fisher, and me to the president of Ford North American. And his name is Mark Fields. And Mark didn't miss a beat when talking about the significance of Kentucky to Ford. Of course, Louisville. But he went right over to Lexington, to Central Kentucky, to the alliance and the partnership with Ford, with Toyota today, in developing new battery technologies for lighter, more fuel-efficient vehicles. And what Mark Fields said, who is, some say, the heir apparent, I don't know, but some say it's sometimes written in the publications in Automotive News and New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, that he may be the next CEO, chairman of Ford. And what he said was that you guys are right in the center of the universe. What it's all about today in the automotive industry is creating lighter vehicles, more fuel-efficient vehicles, and battery technology. So, Governor confirms everything you said is correct. We're at the right place at the right time. Thank you all so much.
always appreciate enthusiasm. The next speaker I'd like to ask to come up is Speaker of the House, Greg Stumbo. He's a native of Prestonsburg, served as Assistant County Attorney, Attorney General, and has been in the House of Representatives 12 terms between 1980 to 2003, where he was the longest serving Majority Leader, and then he returned to the House after ending his Attorney General tenure to be Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to everyone. I recall when Governor Beshear told me about the possibilities of the lithium battery coming in here, the technology, I remarked to him that in my judgment that may have been the most significant economic development opportunity that's happened to Kentucky since Toyota. I had the privilege of sponsoring the incentive package for Governor Collins that brought Toyota here. So, Governor, thank you for your efforts. I'm going to be brief because, to be honest with you, I didn't have a darn thing to do with building this building. But I want to recognize two people that did. One is not with us today. We will celebrate and memorialize him in a tribute at the Capitol later this afternoon. That's Mike Hayden. And for those of you who didn't know Mike, Rocky Adkins, who helped carry the body into the rotunda a few minutes ago, and therefore he could not be here, wanted me to make sure to share with you some information about the impact that Mike Hayden had on developing a lot of the policies that ultimately have led to this type of endeavor. Dr. Capelouto at the university level, Rocky Adkins working with Mike Hayden as his chief of staff in the Majority Floor Leader's office while I was Attorney General, and therefore I didn't have anything to do with that legislation and wouldn't claim that I did. But those two men working together along with his other staff really have created some programs that puts Kentucky on the forefront of clean energy technology. We obviously are blessed with natural resources in this state. We're looking for new opportunities, as this whole project implies. I still believe that coal has a very bright future in Kentucky and in America, and I'm sure that part of this research effort will be to look at ways that we can clean it, we can burn it cleanly. I think there are vast amounts of untapped reserves in Kentucky that maybe we can't mine now with the technology that we have, but if we can put a rover in a crater on Mars, we can surely to goodness mine coal below the current water levels that makes it inaccessible at this particular point with the technology that we have. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to Mike Hayden for the fine work that he did, not only on this project, but so many others across the state. Congratulations to Rocky Adkins. We are truly blessed to have Rocky Adkins as part of the General Assembly. I've said this time and time again, you know, as we travel the country and we look at other states and what they're doing in energy, it's nice to know that we have a legislator who knows as much, and I believe more, than any other legislator in America on energy, and that's Rocky Adkins. Let's give Rocky Adkins a big hand. He's really been a leader in this. Congratulations. It just seems like yesterday, Governor, we were here. I didn't get quite the shovel of dirt that you did because you and Rocky kind of nudged me out a little bit, but that's okay. Thank you, congratulations, and God bless you.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the 12th President of the University of Kentucky, Dr. Eli Capelouto. Dr. Capelouto was Provost at the University of Alabama before coming to Lexington. Since he's been here, he's really focused on enhancing UK's undergraduate experience. I will also say that he and I spent a fun-filled 14 days in China. I think I dragged him through more coal processing and conversion facilities than he ever thought he would do as president. Very much appreciate that, Dr. Capelouto.
Thank you, Rodney, and I want to thank everyone here. I am a new Kentuckian, but listening to the history that David Drake shared and the compelling message of our governor, I'm reminded of the lessons that have meant the most to me since I've arrived. and I really knew about them before I got here. One of those lessons: we have a precious legacy to preserve. And what is it built upon? At the end of the day, regardless of where we sit, we all stand for what's best for the state of Kentucky and for our country. And the other message that is so important at a time where you need to bring together disciplines and partners to solve the solutions of the day is we were collaborating before collaborating was cool. And if you look of all the marvelous things that are going to happen at this facility that our previous speakers have mentioned, I want you to always remember all the different agencies and organizations that are represented on this exhibit over here. Look who came together to make something magical happen in Kentucky. And the mayor is right. What happens here is noticed around the world. I did travel with Rodney, and I will consider Rodney and another one of our energy researchers here, Kun-Lee Liu, who I did travel with, as energy research rock stars. When you're in China, they know what they've written, they know about their expertise, they know they want to partner. China shares many of the same issues that we face, but at even greater magnitudes. China, it's estimated, is going to spend $500 billion or $1 trillion in this type of energy research in the next 5 years. That's several hundredfold more than our budgets are going to allow. But partnering with our scientists and learning from one another, we're going to make our state and this world a better place. About the partners that always come together here in Kentucky, I want to recognize Leader Atkins again. The first time I met with him, I've never seen someone so passionate about an issue, and I'm sorry he can't share this moment today. And although Speaker Stumbo says he didn't have much to do with it, I've learned since I have gotten here, he has a lot to do with everything. So, and Governor Beshear has stood tall on this issue and so many others. But it takes a team in Kentucky in our legislature, and I want to recognize Senators Turner and Stein, who are here, and Representative Coombs, because they've been helpful to me and our university. And Mayor Gray and I talk frequently on a variety of issues. I can assure you that we both care about Lexington, but we care about our state as well. And then our partners who are here today from Argonne and NIST, Stella Fijotes, thank you for being here and your support and guidance, and Eric Isaacs, who we're going to hear from. In closing, let me say, since I arrived at Kentucky, I recognize how much a promise is represented in the work of the University of Kentucky. And we want to pull together the talent to be able to partner with all of you to fulfill a promise that was birthed 150 years ago, that regardless of how challenging the times are, we want to be that shining beacon that helps guide our way forward. Thank all of you for being here today. Thank you for your partnership.